Future of stock markets: raising capital through ICO is 10x cheaper and 20x easier. How blockchain will replace the stock markets as we know them today. This can primarily happen in two ways. 1. Blockchain will disrupt the way stock markets operate. 2. Blockchain will replace the stock markets as a viable alternative. Disrupting the way stock markets operate. Stock markets use a centralized model where depositories, centralized transfer agents, and clearing organizations are responsible for settling trades and tracking ownership of shares. The present system has issues like high equity transaction costs, operational overheads, delay in settlement of trades, and lack of transparency. Exchanges can utilize blockchain for a decentralized settlement for transfer of shares. So, let's look in more detail on how blockchain is going to disrupt and streamline the stock market operations in the upcoming years. 1. Lower equity transaction costs. 2. Automation of trade settlement mechanisms. 3. Increase transparency and traceability. 4. Eliminates barriers for market participants. Blockchain will replace the stock markets as a viable alternative. One of the biggest advantages with blockchain is that it can enable a worldwide, peer-to-peer equity and debt marketplace. Intermediaries are removed, as issuers and investors or buyers and sellers connect directly. And mobility of capital is maximized in a way that traditional Wall Street investment banks and brokerages simply cannot deliver. It could be a slow process to replace traditional stock markets completely, but eventually it will happen. Capital is raised on blockchain platforms. As of today, many blockchain-based securities platforms are being built to lay the foundation for a whole new securities market that is an alternative to the existing stock markets. The one in which issuers and investors come together and transact with each other without the need for a regulator, stock exchange, transfer agents, and depositories. ICOs replacing IPOs. The original aim of Bitcoin and blockchain was to be an alternative to the current financial system that is heavily reliant on central banks and other centralized third parties. Increasingly, capital is being raised through ICOs, initial coin offerings, where investors receive cryptocurrency tokens in place of equities. Think of ICOs as a means of raising capital comparable to an IPO's initial public offering in the traditional capital markets. Beiko token is a decentralized one-stop platform on Tron Smart Chain, focusing on low transaction costs, high transaction speeds, as well as a simplistic and straightforward user experience via a highly intuitive user interface. Join the industry leaders to discuss where the markets are heading. We accept token payments. Buy Beiko online at its official website www.beiko.io.